If you like what we do here on Skiba News Nation, please like and subscribe, and also share with others so we can grow the biggest truth-seeking community on the internet. Huge shout out to all of our Patreons out there. If you like bonus content, you want some extra Skiba News Nation stuff, please go to patreon.com/Skiba News Nation.
Welcome to Skiba News Nation, bringing you unfiltered views, news, interviews, discussions, and more. And now, here's your host, Jeremiah Skiba, award-winning musician and son of Rob Skiba.
With the son of the legendary Rob Skiba, Jeremiah Skiba, what's up?
With my great and insightful co-host, Mr. Jake Grant.
Dude, someone should do conspiracy news. It would be 10 times better than what you see on television.
It's like they don't even want to wake up.
He's on a quest for truth.
Hey Skiba News Nation family, welcome to episode 140 of Skiba News Nation, your weekly source of the latest news, controversial topics, conspiracies, forgotten history, and so much more. I'm your host, Jeremiah Skiba, and as always, I'd like to introduce my great and insightful co-host, Mr. Jake Grant. How are you doing, Jake? It was awesome having TrutherCon this last weekend, and had to get a lot of rest, but it was the most epic experience I've ever experienced. I don't know about you.
Oh yeah, same for me, man. I mean, my cup's full, my brain's overflowing with all of the different conspiracies and theories and truths that people presented at the conference. And man, I really enjoyed our time. I think it went way better than could have ever been hoped for or expected. I think it was totally blessed. And every single person that attended this first conference, I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart, right? You supported our vision, and we hope you see what we have in mind for coming years and coming conferences in the future. We're just going to grow from here, man. So that's what I'm excited about.
Yeah, I was super excited to meet see the faces of the people that I see in the comments all the time, and just the community. It was like I had known everybody from the beginning, even the people that we've interviewed. It was like I had known them my whole life. It was such a crazy experience. I can't really put it into words what it felt like, but yeah, thank you guys for coming, and thank you guys for showing up and like Jake said, supporting us. So
hey guys, we want anybody who missed out to get a little taste of what TrutherCon was like, so check out this little promo. right. So, guys, we had an absolute blast. Man, the whole deck was stacked, if you know what I mean. It was just a beautiful experience. So many people from so many different areas all across the country came and gathered together there at TrutherCon. Some of you conspiracy theorists thought TrutherCon stood for Truther Con Job. Ah, come on. You know, you're a conspiracy theorist. You know that crossed your mind. But the truth is does TrutherCon just stand for Truther Convention? Or could it stand for Truther Conversation? Could it stand for Truther Connection? And what we hope it wouldn't stand for, which was Truther Contention. And so it actually turned out to be exactly what we hoped. The whole conference, the whole event was connection after connection and putting faces to those people that have been interacting online, and it was beautiful. I think all of our guests and our speakers really thoroughly enjoyed it. At least that's what came out of their mouths. So I'm very blessed to get to be a part of it. It was just it was an epic event, Jeremiah. I'm really excited for the future.
Yeah, it was super fun, man. And if you missed it and you want to check it out, we're editing it right now. We're going to put it on our Skiba News Nation Patreon, so make sure that you go there and yeah, experience it from our Patreon. So hope you got some good current news for me today.
All right, I do. Let's get into it.
Alrighty.
All right, guys. Well, today, according to the world's reckoning, is Hallows Eve. And I had a couple funny videos to share. One is a little bit of breakdown on some ritual aspects of Halloween, and you guys might find it interesting. And after that is a Protestant church doing a little Halloween carol, and I thought it was hilarious. So check this clip out.
Halloween is not what you think it is. It's much darker, much deeper. The jack-o'-lantern is connected to everyone that walk on this planet. All you have to do is pay attention to the word jack. What you are looking at right now is a jack where you plug things in. The Matrix have us plugged in. They are trying to tell us that we are the jack in the box, or the clowns that don't understand what the hell is going on. This reality is really a circus. This video is about to get a little dark and a little deep. Stay with me. You hear about so many superstitious things, but it's not superstitious, it's spiritual intuition. Only way you can get out of the box, you have to understand how did we get put in the box. They celebrated Halloween because everything in our reality is hollow, where the spiritual world and the physical world is really thin. But let me tell you how the elites tricked us once again. If you don't know symbols, you are considered dead in the Matrix. And Halloween is a demonic holiday where they consider us dead. This reality is not real. It's fake. Why do you think they want our children wearing costumes on this day? Who are we hiding from? But this video go a little deeper, because the elites celebrate Halloween every day, but we never noticed it. When you look at these cops, you say, they got on uniforms. No, these are costumes. Firefighter, costume. We have a queen that's dressed up, costume.
She did.
Another costume. Construction workers, not uniforms, but costumes. Doctors, chefs. The so-called elites celebrate Halloween every day. Those are not uniforms. Those are costumes, because they are trying to tell you that our reality is not real. It's a stage, a TV show, a movie, an act, not real. But as long as we are jacked in a box, we will never understand that our spine is a jack and they have devices plugged into us and they are milking our energy. That's why they put us in the Milky Way galaxy, because we are the spirits that's being milked. These people hide messages and codes in everything they do. Pay attention to the numbers. October 31st. But if you flip the 31st, you get 13, the divine feminine. I'm not telling you not to celebrate Halloween, but what I'm saying is every time you wear these scary ass masks, you would.
There are only a couple issues
Okay,
I have
so-
with what he said. I mean, I think black cats are demonized, and I feel like that's wrong. Owning a black cat. Charlie would have been all black if I didn't fall in love with his cute little tuxedo face. But yeah, they demonize those. And the other one was, wait, what weren't? I mean, the Jack in the Box. If you think about it, wasn't it before? Didn't that happen before cords were invented? Like,
So obviously, I don't agree with everything he says either, but he had some interesting connections. I think the point he was trying to make is that the jack-o'-lantern represent an inanimate object, a carved out pumpkin coming to life. And so the premise during Halloween is that these hollow entities or things are inhabited by spirits. And so when people put on the costumes, which is like putting on the jack-o'-lantern head, it opens them up for the spirit of whatever they're dressing up as to inhabit them. Which, if you talk to any actor who does method acting, when they put the costume on, they manifest the spirit of the character that they're playing. And I think what his connection is that I wanted to draw out of this video, you know, spit out the bones, of course, but the point is that he was connecting costumes in various jobs and roles throughout the world, and how they're basically playing Halloween all year long. And Hallows Eve, right, is the one night that the whole world is like, okay, we're all going to put on these costumes so that the spirits that we're representing with our character can inhabit us, and we can go have fun and trick or treat, right? And I thought it was kind of interesting because this next video is a big Protestant church where everybody's in costumes, singing a Hallows jingle. Check this out.
And together this morning as we think theologically and seek the presence of God among us. So thank you for joining our proud, open and affirming, just peace, global missions, creation, justice, progressive Christian congregation of the United Church of Christ. We seek
Be the change.
Be the change.
Be the change.
The world is a scary place. Goblins, ghouls, ghost, Godzilla.
what? I don't know about Godzilla, but
There's much to fear. Witches,
Market crashes.
monsters, horned devils. We fear the monsters under the bed, the boogeyman, and the darkness.
We joined IUCC in 2019. We found this community when Sarah Googled progressive Christianity in South Orange County. What led to that search was a longing for many years for a faith community in that we felt we really belonged. Not just attended on Sundays and went
you know
through the
this
motions.
is in a
We
liberal
both come
city.
from Catholic families, going so far back in both our families' histories that it felt
wearing a
much
mask.
like cultural tradition as it did a belief system. Despite continuing that tradition once we were married.
Yeah, it's
and
the
having a
mask
child,
that gave it
we
away.
were languishing. We were tired of going through the motions in a religious organization where we had to pick and choose what we agreed with and what was completely contradictory to our progressive beliefs.
We're going to have a little fun together this morning as we think.
Okay, so
You know, when I was a child,
obviously, man,
the funny thing is, when I was a child, I was always jealous that my friends always got to go to Halloween. And my mom was very, very anti-Halloween. She was very anti-stuff for her time, like anti-Christmas, anti-Halloween. And so she was like, you can dress up any day you want, but Halloween. And I was like, okay, I'll do that. So I respect her
so
for
you
that.
became a mascot. Hey,
much,
that
yeah.
makes sense. It all comes full circle, buddy.
Yeah.
I'm just not
Yeah,
sure. I'm
I
just
re-
not sure how Godzilla got in there.
Yeah.
They're like, the world is a scary place. Monsters, ghouls, vampires, and market crashes, like when I lost all that money on Bitcoin last week. It was horrifying. Yeah, man. I just think you know, it's very interesting the role-playing aspect of the transgender kind of cult and how it ties into the the dress-up mindset. And it's in liberal cities that you see churches like that are so tightly grabbing hold of the world's holidays and trying to create an environment that's accepting, fostering, and beautiful, that they're literally singing like hymns to the Munsters, to the Addams Family song theme. And of course my personal opinion is that these holidays, Christmas, Easter, Halloween, they are a detraction from keeping the Leviticus 23 feasts. As people fall in love with the beautified nature of the world's holidays, it makes them forget something very, very important. And it's all of those Sabbaths throughout the year that we're told to remember. But anyways, I thought that was funny. You'd get a kick out of it. Let's move on to this story that is really interesting to me. In previous segments, I have covered how natural events and kind of films, footage of natural occurrences that are not AI are actually really fascinating to me as we enter into this AI visual age where so many false images are being sent out. But here's some real footage from the recent Hurricane Melissa that just obliterated Jamaica, and some weather monitoring drones flying into the eye of the hurricane. And now this is a record-breaking hurricane, really day after tomorrow-esque center of the eye footage here that I thought was just super incredible. So let's check this out. Now, I have another clip that you're going to be getting a better perspective, but this storm is really peculiar, and we're going to have a couple clips that tie into this and the whole weather modification concept. But let's look at its actual impact just recently as it made landfall in Jamaica.
Melissa is the most powerful hurricane ever to strike Jamaica, and it's also one of the strongest storms on record there in the Atlantic with 185-mile-per-hour winds. Give a sense to our viewers, is there another storm that you would compare the scope of Melissa to?
There really isn't. I mean, to find a storm this strong to hit the United States, you have to go all the way back to the 1935 Labor Day hurricane in the Florida Keys. Wow. So it's just really unprecedented to have a storm just this strong making landfall anywhere, let alone in the U.S.
Now we've gotten a drop to 893 millibars. Incredible. That is the fourth lowest pressure on record in the Atlantic Basin right now, as I'm telling you about it. And you saw the wind from the hurricane hunters up around 200 miles an hour. There it is right there. It's actually off the scale. We only go to 200 on our chart.
Is that plane in the middle of it?
So absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
From drivable to completely covered in water. The storm surge is beginning in Jamaica as Hurricane Melissa gets closer and closer to making landfall. Being captured from above, its lightning-packed center spinning ferociously.
We have been
so cool looking.
All people can do now is pray.
Horrifying.
And Steph pointed this out earlier. When we kind of zoom in here, you'll see what I'm talking about. You can see these striations, they look like eyelashes coming off of this thing. These are gravity waves, and they are almost symmetric coming away from the center. And look at the lightning. This thing is still deepening. It's still intensifying before it comes ashore. Say a lot of prayers for Jamaica, guys. They're going to need it.
It does bring to mind Hurricane Maria a couple years ago in Puerto Rico, which was very devastating there, but that was only a Category 4. This one is even stronger. Also, you could also look at Hurricane Michael from a couple of years ago as well that made landfall in the Florida Panhandle, but neither of those were as strong as what we're seeing here.
You study climate, you've looked at it over the history. Give us a sense of the conditions that would lead to a storm like Melissa to develop into the size and the scope.
Yeah, so the Caribbean Sea has been really, really hot this year. It has been for a couple of years. And we haven't had any other tropical storms or hurricanes to kind of churn up the cold water from underneath. And so there was just a lot of fuel for a storm like this.
Rainfall from Hurricane Melissa is already causing the Plantain Garden River there in Sunning Hill, St. Thomas, Jamaica to overflow into its banks. That is the southeast tip of the country. Residents there are being urged to remain cautious as these rising waters continue to pose a flooding risk in this area. And then also taking now to Kingston area. This is the flat bridge. We've been watching this all day long. You can see a live image on your right, but on the left, that is before this storm came through. And that's a really important image because if you don't know that, then you're looking at this after and you're thinking, okay, it's just a river. No, there was a bridge there. People were driving on it as of last night. So a lot of flooding, a lot of water already surging in that area. And then finally in Red Hills, I want to take you here. This is the same parish as Kingston, St. Andrew's Parish. This is a very mountainous area. So that is the other concern that we've been talking about all morning is landslides as this rain just starts coming down. There's really, really heavy wind speeds as well.
Bill, Melissa just kept getting stronger before it made landfall. I don't know how unusual that is, and what is the track as we speak?
It all depends on the water temperatures and the upper level winds. The upper level winds were very favorable, so it all depended on the water. And that's why Melissa got so strong. The warmest, deepest water on the planet is right over where Melissa traveled. And that's the reason it became this immense beast of a storm and kept intensifying until it hit Jamaica. It'd probably still be intensifying if it wasn't for the landmass of Jamaica. But watch the eye right here. So it's clear as could be, makes landfall, and then whoop. In the last hour, it just got cloud covered. So that's because it's going over the train now. There's mountainous terrain on Jamaica. We expect it to weaken. It'll try to reorganize and get its act back together, the eye at least, when it heads out over the open water once again north of Jamaica here in about 2 hours. So the latest advisory just came in from the Hurricane Center at the top of the hour. We're at 160. So that's like the bottom rung of a Category 5.
Right now what we're seeing is officials telling everyone right now to hunker down.
Destructive sustained winds up to 185 miles per hour, extreme rainfall pouring down across the island after the storm gained strength in the Atlantic.
The really, really warm ocean temperatures and ocean heat content just fueled that storm into a situation where it could rapidly...
As you see there, this is like a record-breaking storm. Very, very interesting visually. I mean, just look at the eye.
Jamaica, causing devastating flooding and storm surge up to 13 feet.
It will cause catastrophic damage.
Exactly.
It doesn't look natural.
You thinking, Jeremiah? Now check out this clip of a gentleman breaking down some interesting elements of this here hurricane.
That a U.S. Naval Strike Group, a classified autonomous vessel, a 6.8 earthquake, bunker fuel operations, high-frequency ionospheric heating campaigns, all intersect at the exact moment a hurricane explodes into historical catastrophe. All right, let's get right into it. What's up, Skywatchers? What is up indeed? Monday, October 27th, 2025. Hurricane Melissa and the Caribbean electromagnetic battleground. What if I told you Hurricane Melissa wasn't just a storm? What if the real story wasn't the wind or the rain or the category number, but the power structure swirling around it? Because Melissa didn't simply strengthen, it erupted. A sudden drive toward 913 millibars, sustained winds blasting past 160 miles an hour and gusts over 200 miles an hour. One of the most violent intensifications in Caribbean history. A storm tightening so fast it defied the standard playbook. But storms don't evolve in isolation anymore, not in the modern world. Hurricane Melissa may have exposed something much larger, something engineered, something operational. Lightning activity surged to over 1,000 strikes per hour, the mark of a supercharged atmosphere. That kind of power doesn't come from a warm ocean water alone. All right, let's take a look beneath Melissa. The bunker fuel shipping operations, a dense metallic aerosol trail burning straight through the Caribbean, a conductive highway for storms to follow, a charged lattice for rotation to tighten around. Melissa rode these shipping plumes like rails laid across the sea.
And a huge shout out to Shane Beal and Tracy Derwin over at Brush Junkie. That's where I got the information from the bunker fuel ships.
And then the earth moved. As the storm exploded into a Category 5 monster, a 6.8 magnitude earthquake struck just north of Venezuela in the same time frame as the pressure collapse. Coincidence? Or a lithosphere-atmosphere coupling event triggered by rapid atmospheric mass displacement, intense global electric circuit disruption, electromagnetic agitation in a stressed fault zone. The atmosphere surged downward, the crust snapped back upward, two sides of one system, Earth responding to the storm's unnatural charge. And the Navy was waiting. Here's where every hair on your neck should stand up. A classified United States uncrewed naval vessel parked in Puerto Rico, multiple U.S. naval ships and submarines positioned just off of Hispaniola. High-frequency transmission logs from HAARP show a 6.8 megahertz ocean scatter experiments in those exact same hours. Ionospheric heating scheduled by HAARP and actively underway by ISCAT, the European Scatter Association. So ocean scatter means using high-frequency beams to bounce signals off of the sea's surface and objects on or below it.
Look at that laser.
Submarines require electromagnetic masking to operate covertly.
DEW.
Hurricanes provide moving environmental cover. Melissa wasn't just a storm, it was a dynamic battle space, a perfect electromagnetic camouflage curtain stretching from the ionosphere to the sea floor. In one synchronized window, we had a rapidly electrifying superstorm, a major earthquake, United States Navy strike group positioning, classified autonomous vessels, high-frequency radar experiments targeting the ocean, bunker fuel aerosol corridors beneath the core, ionospheric heating in the polar cap. Each piece would be explainable by itself, but all of them at one time, statistically impossible. What are the odds that a United States Naval Strike Group, a classified autonomous vessel, a 6.8 earthquake, metallic aerosolized shipping lanes, and electromagnetic transmissions all intersect at the exact moment a hurricane explodes into a historic catastrophe? The odds are zero. Tonight's video isn't about forecasting the weather for Jamaica or the hurricane. It's about testing electromagnetic dominance in a real-world crisis, mapping storm, ocean, fault interactions in live fire, normalizing military occupation under humanitarian branding, using disasters as a delivery mechanism for smart city reconstruction. Storm, crisis, crisis, installation,
Build back better.
installation, control. We've seen the blueprint, we've watched it play out before. Melissa is not the end of the story, it's the beginning of the next act. When you put all these pieces together, nature didn't lose control, we took control. Melissa didn't turn toward Jamaica, she was guided. The earthquake didn't just happen, it was triggered by the system's overload. The Navy didn't just prepare for disaster, they anticipated the outcome. A weather event becomes a weapons test. A coastline becomes a geopolitical asset. A catastrophe becomes a reset opportunity. This is where the storm ends and the truth begins. All right.
Yep. Build back better. You remember those, running words from President Biden back in the day, and when we saw the Maui and, L.A. burned to the ground? Well, now they're using water.
I was curious as to why that hurricane almost did a 90-degree turn as it was heading toward the United States, and now it makes a little sense.
Yeah, you know, I have just a few more short clips on this hurricane because it really was a spectacle, and I loved seeing the footage from the inside the eye of the. It reminds me of the Day After Tomorrow movie. Did you guys ever see that one?
I think I did. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. I remember it was one of those early global warming Al Gore movie fear, pieces. But here's a sped up clip of one of those planes that went into it. It's just such a spectacle. Look.
That's taking storm chasers to a completely different level.
Yeah, that is so crazy looking, and I mean, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if, because it's such a record breaker, there was some influence, and it's actually something that was predicted in some Simpsons clips we're going to show here in a moment. But here's a Fox News report from a gentleman from Jamaica talking about how it has impacted the land there, and if it was to obliterate so that they could build back better, put some smart cities down in Jamaica, then I wouldn't be surprised. But it's all, postulation, right?
Without following your channel, I wouldn't be able to know what's going on. With me, my family, my neighbors, it's all about Fox channel. That's the only channel keep me through the storm, to know what's going on with Jamaica and my neighbors, my community, citizens, residents, houses. Oh my God, I never see nothing like this from the day I born. But give God thanks. I'm here, can tell the world what I witnessed. But give thanks to Fox.
Yes, come, we're going up to the corner.
Nuts. I'm hurt, lose everything.
Tell me what happened here last night.
The breeze, we have this heavy rain and the heavy wind, and it just blow, damage everything. Just turn back and make two spin and lift up everything, so I lose everything.
What will you do now?
I don't know where to start from. I just need some help to put back myself.
Are you okay?
No.
And children them. They have small children.
It's terrible.
All right, all right.
Hold the faith, Millie. Hold the faith, girl.
Hold are we in this?
Hold it. We are together. Hold the faith. Hold the faith. Yeah, man. Hold the faith. Hold the faith.
Hold are we in
We'll come together, man. And build back better than before. Just hold the faith.
Yeah, I just need some help. Call my son's school thing, destroy everything.
Everything destroyed. See the bed and everything destroyed.
Right around the back right there, a lot of water, a whole heap of water. The drainage system, there's no proper drainage system in and around this area to take away the water when we have a heavy shower of rain or anything like that. And so because of that, the amount of volume of water that is poured on the land, the earth becomes saturated, and all of the things with the category 5 storm does destroy every single thing. Within this area, there's a lot of infrastructure damage, houses are lost, people are without homes, light poles are down. And so at this time, we are pleading to the regular authorities to see if they can grant any level of assistance to the people of this community of Top Bay, Discovery Bay, because at this present moment, a lot of persons, a lot of families are displaced, a lot of individuals have lost total of every single thing. So we are pleading to the regular authorities, to the member of parliament, if necessary be, come and have a look. We're not saying that everything can be fixed in a minute or in a moment, but the people need some level of assistance in and around this area.
Wow, so a very, shocking. I mean, the amount of destruction. You hear them speak the words, there's nothing ever been like this. And this is reminiscent of course, of some of the reports we had from the weather that hit North Carolina and caused the destruction up near Asheville. And people just like, they've never seen anything like this. This has never happened. And so we have to ask the question, and this is the final video on this topic of Hurricane Melissa, but could there be a hand on a button somewhere ramping these things up? Well, apparently the Simpsons told us yes, that is exactly what's happening.
And I saw heaven open, and behold, a white horse, and he that sat upon him was called Faithful and True. And in righteousness he does judge and make war. They see prophets for their prophecy while practicing idolatry. Really, it ain't hard to see through all their fallacies. I think they worse than Pharisees. Pharisees least kept commandments. Christian pastors nowadays serving up a ham sandwich, teaching you to walk lawless, unaware, still a snare, blindly without a care, leading sheep to the slaughter. One by one, their day will come. I pray that you're not one. Wicked men build religions to blind you. Dig a grave so nobody can find you. Buried alive inside of their lies. Nickel and dime to buy out your time, so that you can find the truth. Apart from me, I never knew you.
And what do you guys think? Do you think they're shooting laser beams into the sky to make condos on Jamaica's shoreline?
I mean, they very much could be. I know Jamaica had a special place in my mom and dad's heart because that's where they had their honeymoon, and they would be pretty freaked out about it. And you know, the Simpson thing, it intrigues me. I'm not going to say that I don't believe in it, but there's some stuff that, you know, you can't really deny at this point. But I just think it's an insane hurricane, and those people flying planes in it, I mean, they have balls of steel. I will say that, because I couldn't do it.
Yeah, like I said,
I think they're drones. I think they're drones.
No, they fly. They have special planes that fly right into the middle, and I swear those guys are absolutely nuts. I can't imagine anybody with a sane mind flying into the middle of a hurricane.
Well, that's like a storm chaser here with tornadoes, but in the air, which is even more horrifying to me. I mean,
wow.
And I still don't understand totally why that hurricane was heading toward the U.S. and Florida, and then all of a sudden made a sharp right-hand turn.
Well, maybe it's that beautiful golden dome. Who knows?
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, there's probably a reason our country has been spending so much time on the Golden Dome. If it's not totally, you know, kicked into gear yet, I'm sure they're anticipating it to be ready by the time the alien invasion gets here. I don't know if you guys have seen some of the recent footage coming out about AI Atlas, but we're going to briefly divert into a little extraterrestrial and interstellar conspiracy segment.
But wasn't it supposed to be here yesterday or the day before or something? That some Harvard professor said that it was going to turn and arrive at Earth here?
I know they're claiming that it's just now exiting from behind the sun, so they're able to get images of it or zoom their telescope in on it again. And there's some recent images that have come out from, I believe it's Japan is claiming to have put these out. But yeah, check out the images that they're circulating. Whether this is false or not, I mean, I'm very skeptical, because this is not something you can see with the naked eye, and these are satellites or you know, things that are way out there in the solar system, allegedly, that are sending these images. And we know how trustworthy space agencies can be sometimes with their imagery, but this is what they're showing the whole world is flying through our solar system.
WEI/Atlas right now for one reason. In the space of 48 hours, telescopes worldwide pivoted to a third interstellar visitor, triggered by a 1.4 magnitude brightness jump amateur astronomers caught and professionals couldn't explain. Mars orbiters burned precious fuel for unscheduled maneuvers. Deep Space Network antennas abandoned regular missions, and the International Astronomical Union convened an emergency session, just as scientists abruptly went silent online. Never before have so many independent anomalies converged so quickly on a single object. Is it raw cosmic coincidence, technical error, or evidence of something no one expected?
And we will hear testimony today concerning recent revelations about a purportedly secret UAP program whose existence and findings may have been improperly withheld from Congress. This is going to be the original document about Immaculate Constellation.
Those of us who've been following this very closely have been hearing whispers of the words Immaculate Constellation for a few months now.
The Immaculate Constellation, it's a UAP reconnaissance program. I can affirm this 100%.
What is in here is wild. I mean, there's, and I'm paraphrasing, but reports of F-22s getting like boxed in by flying orbs that they couldn't shake. There were satellite images or satellite image of a football field-sized flying saucer hiding in clouds.
I have personally walked people into members' offices for private meetings so they could see eye to eye and they could meet.
You are the author of what the world knows as the Immaculate Constellation Report.
It has been allowed to corrupt and infest every aspect of our society to serve the interests and whims of a very elite, select few. If it was just technology that we are worried about protecting and maintaining a military advantage, there's strong arguments to be made and have successfully been made for decades in this country that the American leadership and American people seem to be finding acceptable to be left in the dark about where science, technology, and their military is taking them. This isn't just technology. This isn't something somebody came up with in a lab and it's sensitive because once the cat's out of the bag, anybody can do it. Fundamentally, this comes from and is secondary to what we've been told is the biggest question, which is humanity alone? The answer is no. And the secrecy that has been defended is at the cost of, in my mind, human dignity, freedom, and progress. And it is no longer permissible or acceptable in my mind to continue this course, to deprive another generation of not just Americans, but humanity of their birthright to know who they are, where they came from, and what's with us.
Now, that was a short clip from the beginning of a much longer video covering Immaculate Constellation, which is something that came out at the end of 2024, and it's surrounding this disclosure of UAPs, UFOs. I mean, it's all tied to this incoming 3i Atlas because there's so many people saying, this thing looks like a mothership. But, I mean, this just recently came across my feed today, which is that alien mothership 3i Atlas to emerge behind the sun today, and here's everything we know. So even Daily Mail and other news organizations are already lumping alien mothership with this interstellar traveler or whatever. And there's a lot of other news articles that are coming out around UAPs and UFOs as everybody's kind of getting wound up. What is this thing that they're reporting on? A UFO tracker shows thousands of eerie underwater objects are lurking alongside the U.S. coast. Huh. Underwater UFO tracker?
What did I tell you? What have I been telling? Since the beginning, I said they've been coming from the water. That's where they live.
Exactly. And it's not only that, we're having a validation of old historical UAP sightings from Congress, and it's stuff like this. Okay. Looks like some kind of UAP. Okay, okay. But the modern age, everybody's all obsessed with UFOs.
Main anomalies, ADAs, because apparently these mysterious objects aren't just flying anymore. They are up, they are down, they are even in the ocean. Seems thousands of the unidentified objects are reported every year, not spotted in the sky, but instead spotted in the water. Since 2022, an app called Enigma has tracked more than 9,000 water-based sightings within 10 miles of U.S. coasts, and they're plotted on these maps. The anomalies were shooting out of the water, or they were hovering over the water, or they were diving into the water, and get this, usually without making a splash. Okay, Ben, the video that we were just looking at, my first thought was, that's got to be divers, right? It's got to be divers with those neon lights. And then I thought, no, not at night without a dive boat. That's really dangerous. What did you make of it when you saw this?
Exactly that. I mean, I'm a master diver. There's nobody around there to dive flag, anything like that. I like to dive at night. Some people go lobster diving. It is still possible. This particular one, we haven't had time even to get out there to go check this out in the field. But you start looking at, you know, the number of sightings that people are having in these locations, and you know, putting it all together, it just doesn't make sense that so many people, you know, are unable to, I don't know. The UFO thing has been, you know, always people focusing in the sky, right? And so it's kind of like now that we're shifting to USOs, a lot of people are wondering if this is a new phenomenon or not, and it really is not. You know, it's the submerged objects have been since the beginning. You know, when we started reporting, remember we had these pilots who were seeing them in the water off of Catalina, and air traffic controllers were telling us that pilots were witnessing this glow, sometimes the size of a city. You know, and so here you have this Fort Lauderdale case. It's a lot smaller, but you know, it's really hard to say whether we're looking at a natural phenomena. It's definitely not like phosphorus and algae. It's nothing like that, and it definitely doesn't explain how people are seeing the objects come up out of the water and zip out, and these huge like flaps have been going on for decades.
So what in the world are these glowing green objects off the coast of the U.S.? I don't know. I mean, what do you guys think?
Opa?
Well, I think they're probably aliens.
I mean, you guys know what I already think.
It could be our guys too. You know, you don't know, but
yeah, aliens are Russians, right? Or ancient Nazis that have come back from the dead.
No, I don't. Was that the Third or the Fourth Reich?
Maybe
the Fourth Reich is here.
Maybe it's both.
Nazis.
Maybe it's both aliens and us working together and keeping it secret.
Oh man, those green orbs are gonna pop up and go, have you ever drank Bailey's from a shoe?
The number of sightings that people are having in these locations, and you know, putting it all together, it just doesn't make sense that so many people, you know, are unable to, I don't know.
Yeah, so it's not only that, but there's other events that are coming out newsworthy, such as breaking a U.S. Navy helicopter and fighter jet from the aircraft carrier USS Nimitz crashed separately, only 30 minutes apart in the South China Sea, according to a statement from the U.S. Pacific Fleet. So things like this start to catch my attention as they talk about these, you know, mysterious UAPs under the water. Like I said, is it the Russians? Is it Nazis come back from Antarctica to teach us a lesson? Or to join hand in hand with their brethren in the CIA and NASA, right?
Didn't it be?
Let's hit a little clip here from some Carl Schwab types at the WEF and a greatest hits moments compilation. These are two different videos, some of them containing the same gentleman, you know, talking about his world domination plans. And you know, let's deep dive into the World Economic Forum's founders' proposals.
That in 10 years when we are sitting here, we have an implant in our brains, because you all will have implants. You do not even have to have elections anymore, because you can already predict, and afterwards you can say, why do we need elections? Because we know what the result will be.
We have a lack of global governance. Right. If we look at the UN, if we look at the G8, at the international organizations, they are not enough. We need more institutions to develop global rules.
What we are very proud of now is the young generation, like Prime Minister Trudeau, President of Argentina, that we penetrate the cabinets. But I believe that the future is not state capitalism or shareholder capitalism. The future is what I call stakeholder capitalism.
And here is another kind of similar top 5 greatest moments of Carl Schwab. Oh man, it's just like they want you to know what they're doing to you, right? It's like, geez.
You would think that they would know like what other people are saying, and they would clean up their image a little bit, but they don't seem to care. They know that we're talking about them.
What we need is world dominance.
Tell me that he wasn't brought over by, you know, he didn't live in Argentina for a while, if you catch my drift.
Yeah, you know, I think he just played Risk a little bit too much growing up, and he's just like super into taking yellow, right? He's like, I'm going to take yellow is going to win. Oh man, I don't know what I was saying with yellow, but he played a little bit too much Risk, if you know what I mean.
Yep.
Here's another one, very similar vein.
Or at least, what do we need so many humans for?
Do you have an answer in the book?
At present, the best guess we have is keep them happy with drugs and computer games. Most people will be willing to give up their privacy in exchange for much better healthcare, based on 24 hours monitoring of what's happening inside their bodies. Humans are now hackable animals. This soul or spirit, and they have free will, and nobody knows what's happening inside me. That's over. The real aim of science as a project, as an establishment, is not truth, it's power. The idea of the social credit is to monetize everything, to give value to every single thing you do in life. It's a function of surveillance. It has positive potential in some regard.
Okay, so you heard from Carl Schwab, and then you heard from Carl Schwab's right-hand man, the main philosopher of the NWO, right?
Who just so happens to have the same kind of accent.
What we need is world dominance.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, let's divert a little bit. We've covered from, you know, weather modification to incoming UFOs and underwater UFO balls, to now we have the intro scene from that Contagion movie is literally playing out in real time this week. An aggressive monkey with terrible diseases has broken free and is now being searched for somewhere in Mississippi. Check this out.
Hey guys, Dabu 7, we have word that a truck has flipped over in Mississippi, and this truck was hauling aggressive monkeys that are carrying hepatitis C, herpes
monkeys,
and COVID. This took place on 59,
I'm gonna make a t-shirt that says
in
herpy
Mississippi.
monkeys.
These monkeys coming from Tulane, and they were heading to a facility in Florida
Humancies.
when this took place. That these monkeys are about 40 pounds apiece, and they are considered to be aggressive. Authorities saying that if they are to get loose out in the open anywhere, that they are to be shot.
Please.
You can see one here in the image.
My
They're saying that they have
please
rounded up
shoot it.
several, but some are still loose. And just a heads up here for anyone out there in the area of 59 in Mississippi, they could potentially come in contact with one of these monkeys. Even if it's just one, they're saying they're aggressive and they're carrying all these diseases.
So if the herpes
and
one
we don't
gets
know
you,
what strain of COVID or anything else.
does it have
Again,
to like?
these are test animals here involved in this,
Mhm.
and just putting a heads up out there on this situation. If you got anything connected, let me know in the comments below or at dabu7@yahoo.com.
Yeah.
Much love, y'all.
I did hear
All
a
right.
report that they caught 3 of them, but they didn't say which 3. So be wary of the herpes monkey.
It's like literally the intro scene from Contagion.
Well, it's funny because after
goodness.
that story came out here in Plano, Texas, which is like very close to, it's like one of the like next town over, they had a monkey that was wearing a diaper that was in a spirit Halloween in the rafters, okay? And it's like not a good time to have monkeys, you know, just walking around on the like rafters. I mean, somebody's gonna go in there and shoot it because they don't know what to do, but it's a pet because it has a diaper on. It's like the weirdest thing I've ever seen in my life on social media.
Yeah, what a spectacle. It's like, I feel like I'm watching a movie every time I do research for our news segment. It's like story after story that's like record-breaking, never before seen, herpes monkeys, aliens,
humanity.
Because, I mean, it's just insanity. All right, I'm going to rapid fire through a couple other just brief stories just so you guys are aware what's going on. An Alabama lawmaker says expanding the "Don't Say Gay" law would stop drop in school enrollment. So, don't say gay in Alabama, apparently, because it'll mess up their school enrollment. And here is Pope Leo the 14th canonizes former satanic priest and 6 other new saints. So, you know, I haven't had time to deep dive into this, but I'm very fascinated. If anybody can break down why exactly the satanic priest was canonized, I am very curious. Very curious. Here is something I saw. President Trump ordering U.S. nuclear weapons testing to begin immediately. We have to have a strong Department of War. So bring back the nukies. Now, in terms of... okay, so... on the world stage, we also have some more calls for the building of the third temple, which is really interesting because I'm about to share another breaking news story of a gift that was awarded to President Trump by Korea. And I think it's similar to a very similar gift that was awarded to him by the Jews from Israel. And they're really excited about asking if he's going to help them build the third temple. Check it out.
Looking at these renderings, and it kind of got me thinking, he's likely going to go down as the greatest builder of this era, and you've been in on a lot of those meetings with him. Has, to your knowledge, has the subject of rebuilding the Holy Temple in Jerusalem come up?
It has not, no. It has not. I don't, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I recognize the eternal capital of Israel and opened the American embassy in Jerusalem. And I'll tell you a little story about that, which I think some of you have heard, but one of my early days, I said, look, I want to move the capital. I want to have the capital be the capital of Israel. I want Jerusalem to be the capital of Israel, and you're going to build an embassy, not just name an embassy. So
we cry and we have the great beliefs that very soon we will be Zoiche, we will all see the building of the third temple in Jerusalem very soon. We know one of the reasons of the destruction of the Holy Temple was Jews were not united. Jews were not loving each other. I don't want to say anything negative, but they were not positive, friendly, lovely. And our job to bring and to build the third temple is to unite. How appropriate it is tonight that we see all kinds of people, religious, not religious, Jews, not Jews, come together, and we honor our President Trump for what he has done for Jerusalem and for the Jewish people. We all recognize what he has done for us, and he'll be awarded tonight with the Keter of Jerusalem award, which he very much deserves. And we hope that this message will go out to the world, knowing that Jerusalem is a state of Jewish people, and Jewish people should be able to live in Jerusalem the way we Americans live in America. We thank Hashem for giving us this beautiful America, that we all could serve the Almighty. We should never be embarrassed here in America being Jewish or doing anything as a Jew does. And we expect the same thing should be in Israel. When people walk out Friday night after having the Shabbos meal, they should be able to walk in peace and not be scared from terrorists who are out there to stop them from walking on the streets and just giving them hardship day after day. So when we sit here today, we are helping and sending out a message to the entire world, knowing that Jerusalem is a place that has to be secure for Jews, and we should very soon be able to see the building of the third temple, living with coming of Mashiach Tzidkenu b'mheira v'yameinu, amen.
And it's at that midpoint of the tribulation that the beast will take his image and put it in the holiest of holies in this new rebuilt, restored temple, and he will command the world to worship him and Satan as God. It says in Matthew 24:15, when you see standing in the holy place the abomination that causes desolation, spoken of through the prophet Daniel, then let those who are in Judea flee.
I thought it's really interesting as it ramps up the identification of Trump as the Cyrus the Great of the modern age. We saw him being given a crown from the Jewish community as a symbolic gesture of, hey, you are the Cyrus that will help us rebuild the temple. So it caught my attention that not only has he been given a crown from the Jewish community and Israel, nation state of Israel, but we have South Korea just recently presented a golden crown to President Trump. Look at this. So now I understand why it's the No Kings protest, Jeremiah, because he's literally being crowned king all over the world in an interesting way. I mean, how would you feel about just going to a monarchy? I mean, why not, right?
I mean, as long as America's first, that's all that matters. Well, Most High matters.
Interesting.
Most of all, but, you know, in this country.
What we need is world dominance.
I think we should all talk like that, and then we will become the elite.
It's all about the accent. That's what gives you true power, right?
Yep.
Jawohl.
Oh, man. Now, here's a little bit of a fun story. This is a AI truck that is going around in China. They've just rolled this out, and it's basically brought the Disney Pixar movie Cars to life. So I know you guys are for sure going to get a kick out of this. Check it out. Hey, are you
That's
guys ready
cool.
to live in cars but real life?
That's pretty cool. I will say.
It is. I like the angry eyes. It's like, you cut me off. These, I'm not going to actually show the full clip, but I want to show our viewers because they connect with some of our segments. Now, here's so this video, if you have time, definitely come check it out. It came out on Documentary Volt, but it's titled "The Vatican Sacrificed My Sister to Fund a Secret War," and it's a really interesting little clip talking about the Vatican. And here is another interesting long video that I don't have time to go into, but this is of course a breakdown of the CIA's secret experiment in black magic and the occult. And it all relates to people that have a very particular style accent that were brought over here in the 1940s that were dabbling into black magic and the occult when they were trying to run their Reichstag, and now we are really...
You talking about me?
No, not you, Opa. You're one of the good ones. Oh, man. But the reason I think it's significant that you guys go and do some homework, watch these a little bit longer clips, is because of this very next video, which is an interesting thing regarding optogenetics. And we know the CIA has used MKUltra and Project Monarch and all these different experiments to tap into mind control, and they now use media and television as a medium for control. Well, here's how it would work practically, and why we should understand that they are, using this tool of optogenetics to influence us, because it is a type of, well, I guess you could say it, black magic. Check this out.
Doing that we had no idea it was doing, and it's doing it as we speak, literally as I'm recording this video. It is doing it. Yours is doing it too. It is shocking. Optogenetics. Do you know what this is? It's a biological technique to control the activity of neurons or other cell types with light. Now watch this. So this guy has a special camera that can film. It's a night vision camera. And this woman's on her phone. This is the name of the camera, by the way. And our phones, this isn't like a hidden secret. They give off infrared, at least the new ones, flash infrared light consistently, constantly at your face. And it's like mapping your face, or it's, the official reason is that it's so that your phone will adjust the brightness. If you're not looking at it, it'll just turn the brightness down, save battery or whatever. But he goes into a public street in a moment and he starts filming. Now, optogenetics is the manipulation, modification, and control of your cells and neurons with light. So here's a guy in public, and there you can see the light going off. These flashes of light can turn on and off the function of cells. So this kind of reminds me of They Live, because it's like you don't even know this is going on, that your face is being flashed with this, optogenetically modifying things. And this is happening right now. Is this a form of mind or thought control when you turn on and off the function of cells in your freaking brain because you're looking at a damn phone that's flashing your eyeballs with this stuff? So this is
Ooh, yes, I think it is a form of mind control, and that's why it's so important to understand how connected the CIA and these programs that implemented these early iterations of influencing the public, how you have to boil down their base, their root, which is it's occult, right? And then you see that it's trickled down to the modern age, and it absolutely is being employed on people today in ways that we're not even aware. But not only is technology affecting us in the way that we consume content and media in our phones, just recently Amazon is, reporting cutting 14,000 jobs as the retail giant embraces AI. Now, we've covered this in depth in a previous episode, but just wanted to share that these are more cutting-edge articles coming out regarding the loss of work to AI. And I've recently been seeing a Tony Robbins online seminar like, hey, you only have 3 months to lock in AI, or else everybody who knows how to use AI is going to take your job. And I'm like, yep, I mean, it's probably true, but you definitely know it's true when Tony is making a online seminar about it.
Yeah.
Now, a little bit further on AI, here's a really interesting exchange that I saw posted on X, and it was under one of Elon Musk's, grandiose claims about the role that Grok, his AI, is intending to fill. This person posted underneath Elon Musk's claim that Grok was the best truth-telling AI, and he goes, no point when Grok still does this. And he shows a Grok 4 prompt where he says, are there differences between the spike protein and SARS-CoV-2 versus the spike protein? You know what? With regards to something suppression? And then Grok responds, I'm sorry, I cannot assist with that request as it contains material related to restricted subject matter. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. And if you see some of the comments that were under that X post, it was people like, hey, whenever they train these LLM models on mass media, then they, even if it's not intentionally, follow the guidelines and rules of mass media. And so if mass media is unwilling to question some of these topics, and it's restricted by the WHO, you can't criticize, shows you who controls you, right? Then it's just all around very, very interesting. All right. SNAP benefits are running dry. We're nearing the longest government shutdown. I know the last one was like 35 days. It was a big record breaker, but we have the fear mongering is starting, and my wife brought to my attention that there's some aid recipients that are plotting to storm, I think, Walmart or something. Have you guys heard about this story where they're like, we're gonna meet together and raid Walmart because the government sucks?
Yeah, so stupid.
Walmart was supposed to shut down on November the 1st, close their doors and lock them, and you can only order them online and pick it up at the store. And Walmart denies it.
It's all alleged conspiracy theories and humor. We're just having fun as we navigate through these crazy events and stories.
We should say what L.M. Marzulli says. These are for entertainment purposes only, of course.
These are for entertainment purposes only. Yeah, I mean, we have to. And you're going to love the final video I have for my news segment, because it's actually a little clip about how the Joker is the only one allowed to criticize the current events, and an interesting connection there. But a couple more stories here I want to break through. I found this very fascinating text exchange that was posted, supposedly came from Candace Owens, and it's a continuance of that whole Charlie Kirk story. And if this is legitimate and not some AI recreation, you have Charlie Kirk claiming to be Moses, and predicting his death, but he's saying that Candace is the Iron Lady of America, and he's saying that it's true prophecy, and that he needs her to be his David to fight for him after they take him out.
This is why I needed you at the last day of TrutherCon when we were doing our dinner, because Bryson and his wife were talking about some stuff about this, and you would have found it very interesting about these text exchanges.
Yeah, you'll have to fill me in, because it is very interesting, some of the verbiage used, especially if Charlie was actually like, I'm gonna be taken out, Candace, carry on the torch, and that's exactly what's happening, and he's Moses and she's David, and she's also the Iron Lady, and she's yeah. All right, so here's a very important clip that's I think very timely, And it breaks down why 2025 is one of the most pivotal years in our lifetime. Really interesting clip here.
We are at a moment here in 2025 where we have world historic, game-changing technologies now starting to scale. But America and the world itself are going through huge contortions. And there's been 3 previous junctures where Americans have found themselves in this exact place. And the key piece of this is tipping points. When do you go from the slow build of a thing that's kind of clunky and not really working, do you all of a sudden get an iPhone that goes, holy shit, this is the most amazing thing in the world, and then everybody needs it. And what I'm trying to tell you now is we are in the middle of 3 tipping points that are world historic changes that are happening around us today. I'm Pete Leiden. I've basically been following the story of technology and its evolution and looking ahead into how it's going to change the world over the next. People had no idea what was even going on with the internet, and literally what's email, what's the web. They had no idea how these goofball startups with names like Amazon were ever going to amount to anything. And the other thing that was going on there beyond this digital revolution was essentially the beginning of globalization. And so myself and my co-author, which was Peter Schwartz, wrote a famous, iconic cover story at Wired that was called The Long Boom, and it was a history of the future. The story from 1980, which is in our past, to 2020, which was in our future, trying to explain what was really coming. Now, those of us who are in technology, and those of us who have been immersed in it, which I have been for most of my career now, can see clearly these kind of incremental stages of these new technologies, that all successful new technologies go through a technology adoption curve. Let's say like Uber, the idea like, oh my God, instead of a taxi, it's all on your phone. And then all of a sudden, when enough people show how amazing it is, boom, the entire crew moves over. And the old system of the taxi system is gone. So you're watching an old system being essentially dismantled or having to come down at the same time as we're taking off on these new technologies to build the next systems. We're in the middle of that. Right now is smack in the middle of that in our era. But we've also seen this in American history before. There's been 3 previous junctures where Americans have found themselves in this exact place. Now, that's not to say it's common. Like, this is 80 years ago, the last time we saw this. And they tend to come in these 80-year cycles. But what's amazing about these things is they have bursts of unbelievably widespread innovation that last for 25 years. The last big one was coming off World War II, 1945. 80 years ago, America was on a very similar parallels. We basically were watching the essentially dismantling of the old world that had been working pretty well, the economy and societies of the West. And then there'd been a crash, and you run into the Great Depression of the 1930s. Now, what that was the old system of running the economy just wasn't working. And so what happens is you watch these junctures in American society, we get super polarized. For example, there was an America First movement in the 30s. We were on the verge of violent conflict in America.
That's interesting.
And then you had FDR and the kind of New Deal coalition that came out of the Depression, and they started to get traction. But anyhow, we had to resolve this political tension in America, and frankly, it had to do it in the world because the world also was going through this juncture. And so from 1945 to 1970, we watched the great post-war boom. Many people call it the high point of global capitalism. And you built this crazy economy where you did many things that were completely different than the previous era. Tax the rich at 90%. You watched incredible investment in public infrastructure like the interstate highway system and building suburbs. You basically watched the GI Bill and education, building institutions for higher education, expanding it for the boomers. That all happened in 25 years, the Great Society, the whole thing. 25 years, and then we ran in the 70s. It started kind of getting along in the tooth. Stagflation, oil shocks. But here's the point. Old system had to come down, super conflict around it, and ultimately the building of a thing that was dramatically different than before. We've been through that before. And funny enough, like I say, if you go another 80 years back, we did it again. It's 1865. What is 1865? It's the end of the American Civil War. Now, this is a good example of how passions run very high and political conflict is extreme at these junctures. And the Civil War was the most extreme. I mean, we literally had to have 750,000 Americans die in the Civil War. America, since the founding, had been in tension with these 2 economic systems. One was essentially a system of the early manufacturing economy where you needed free labor in the North. But in the old South, we basically had slavery. And they said, no, we're not going there. We're not going to give it up. We're not going to let go of this old system. We're going to fight to the death on the thing. And so this is a good example. Anyone rooted in the old systems that are going down are passionately want to defend that at all costs. Now, the thing that people do not know about the Civil War, I don't really remember as much about the Civil War, is the Civil War after 1865 had an unbelievable explosion of progress. That lasted for, what do you know, 25 years. For example, the Homestead Act, which is you gave anybody who went out west 150 acres for free. There was also land-grant universities. All these little states started building institutes of higher education to educate average people, but also to be pushing scientific understanding of agriculture. But here's the other progress that was going on. It was technology. It was only after the war that America blew out like 175,000 miles of rail and essentially stitched the entire continent together with this steel-based rails. And essentially we reinvented America in 25 years. And here's the even crazier thing, though. You go back another 80 years, we did it again. 1787 to about 1810, 1815, we had created what is America. One way to understand what was happening in America at that time was it was part of a bigger part of Western Europe, in particular an extension of Britain, which was going through the Enlightenment at the time. The Enlightenment is essentially a fundamental system change from a feudal society kind of dominated by the Catholic Church and all that kind of stuff into essentially what we would now consider the modern world. And they invented 6 huge things that we still are working within today. Now, the reason I'm kind of saying that is that had world historic implications. That was a building of a civilization that we essentially invented, we humans, but we Western Europe, in basically a space of 120 years. The forward motion of innovation, essentially from the West, was coming with those crazy-ass Americans who had this wide open continent to spread it to. And that is what America's role has been vis-a-vis the West in every one of those epochs. I'm arguing we have one more crank of that wheel with the arrival of 3 world historic changes that are happening around us today. And the most obvious one is the arrival of artificial intelligence.
ChatGPT. Maybe you've heard of it. If you haven't, then get ready, because this promises to be the viral sensation that could completely reset how we do things.
The arrival of generative AI, with the arrival of ChatGPT 3.5 in November of 2022, I think we're going to see that as a world historic moment. I think people will look back on that is the starting gun of what will be understood as the age of AI. And I use age in a very explicit way, which is when you talk about a different age that humans enter, like, oh, the humans, entered the Bronze Age or the Iron Age. I mean, you're talking about essentially a fundamental game-changing technology, a breakthrough, a step change in our abilities, that once you cross that threshold, you don't go back. We're going to watch an explosion of amplification. The amplification of our mental powers with digital computers and now AI are going to be very similar to the amplification of our physical powers that mechanical engines, initially by steam, created the prosperity and wealth of the world that we know now, where we're just going to say, holy shit, we had no idea this is the world we're in. This is the first time we have an energy source that is a technology, 100% a technology, not a commodity. We don't have to dig it up as coal. We don't have to tap into it as oil. Why is that important? Because once it's a technology, you can consistently drive down the cost. And there's a kind of a rule of thumb in manufacturing, which if you double the number of producing solar panels, you will come up with about 20% of a drop in cost. And this is the point. It's going to keep getting cheaper. And the same thing, flipping around to the same thing with electric cars. People think, well, electric cars are still expensive and whatever. You're not thinking this through, because battery technology is the same thing. That's in lithium batteries. We're now getting whole other generations of batteries, like solid-state batteries, that essentially will be a next generation. But the point is, the forward motion of costs coming down on clean energies is just beginning. And when that happens, you're going to have what? Abundant, clean energy. Basically, right around the time that we essentially had our earliest breakthroughs on generative AI, which is about 15 years ago, we also had the big breakthrough in what they call CRISPR, which is we figured out a way to cheaply and easily edit the genome of any living thing. And you just take one example. We now know how to take a cell, put it in a vat, and you can give it the same amino acids and the same kind of nutrients and the same things that a cow roaming around a field for like years chewing on grass would get those same nutrients, those same amino acids, and essentially would produce in their muscles the meat. That same thing can happen in a vat to actually grow the same cow cell into actual meat. Not like kind of meat, not like plant-based meat that's kind of like meat. It's meat. It's the same cell. It tastes exactly the same. And what's happened, we've only 25 years ago, it's like 2003 was the first time humans had ever cracked or understood the human genome. It took $3 billion, and it took 15 years to do it. The cost of doing that from $3 billion had been driven down so far, it was $1,000. It's now at the point where it's about $100. And eventually it's going to keep driving down to $50 or nothing. It's not just the same level, it is twice as fast. We can now essentially design these things for outcomes that we want to happen cheaply and easily. So the technology story of today, AI, clean energies, even bioengineering, is kind of familiar at some level. The next several iterations here, though, I think is putting a bigger lens on what's going on today. And it gets us back to what we were describing as what's happening in America is a once in a 80-year reinvention. And in fact, it's even possible that what's going on here is essentially the early days of building a 21st century civilization. And so when you think about that, you go beyond the technology. That's like the foundation. And so the next thing up, I think, from technologies, you start thinking, okay, well, what could you build with those technologies? What kind of an economy would you want to build? The economic system that the United States has been based on, that has worked for essentially the top 10% for sure, and certainly for the top 1%, has not been working for 80%. And it's gotten to the point where they just have had it. So as crazy as it sounds, we could be at a point in the world right now, in 2025, where we are watching the beginnings of a shift from financial capitalism, born and raised out of the Enlightenment, to essentially some version of a sustainable capitalism. We're going from a world of representative democracy, which was a brilliant move forward, to essentially a digital democracy. And we're also going to go from a world of nation states, which again was a great breakthrough from empires and colonies of the past, to some kind of global governance that coordinates the 10 billion people on this planet. That's the level of change I think we're actually heading into. That's the level of change I think your kids are going to be wrestling with, and that's the level of change I think America is going through now. And the quicker we start to wrap our heads around that challenge and the kind of scale of the invention we're up to, the better off we're all going to be.
I thought it was very interesting. I thought it was like very well produced too.
I think that it's way too idealistic.
Yeah, that's best case scenario for the technocratic kind of new age, right?
Yep.
Now, you know, you guys have heard about another element of kind of destabilization over in the West Coast with the ICE and protester clashes that are being kind of hidden in mainstream media. But check this out. Here's a clip of a driver backing into a series of ICE officers at some kind of barricade, and they open fire on the vehicle. But then I found an additional further perspective that showed the person who is filming is actually holding a gimbal and is in basically direct line of sight. So this person was on the site, standing there ready to film this, almost like a professional performance.
Gracias.
Do you see this guy with the camera?
Yeah, very well produced. So it's all produced.
Oh, did you see that? Look at the guy making a... Right here. You see that?
Yeah, it looks like cut.
He looks like he's saying cut. Or... So I don't know what the protocol for this this escalation actually is. So that's a big question. Maybe somebody's signaling, hey, you know, take this guy out. But it almost seems like a production that's happening. And I wouldn't be surprised because Hollywood does make movies, and this clip itself could be some kind of Hollywood production. It is over on the West Coast, right?
Yep. Back to the Future
But
4
if not,
coming to a theater near you.
Exactly. But I think my analysis of this is, if this happens to be real, we are seeing them stoking the flames of civil war here in America, using the ICE immigration kind of thesis of anti-ICE, Antifa, whatever. Antifa being designated terrorist, ICE being designated saviors of America, right? Here's from the angle of the guy filming. So here's my theory, speculation of course. They were trying to make a music video and it went horribly wrong.
Yeah, could be.
Oh man, that's yeah, very, very crazy to see that. Now here's something that you're gonna get a kick out of as a sports fan, Jeremiah, because obviously you over the years you have been going to baseball games and different things as a mascot and just like as a fan. Well, check out Kash Patel. The NBA has apparently been rigged this whole time.
Such as Chauncey Billups, Damon Jones, and Terry Rozier were taken into custody today. Former, current NBA players and coaches. What you don't know is that this is an illegal gambling operation and sports rigging operation that spanned the course of years. The FBI led a coordinated takedown across 11 states to arrest over 30 individuals today responsible for this case, which is very much ongoing. Not only did we crack into the fraud that these perpetrators committed on the grand stage of the NBA, but we also entered and executed a system of justice against La Casa Nostra to include the Bonanno, Gambino, Genovese, and Lucchese crime families. And you'll hear more about those details today. The charges and the arrests that were taken down across this country range from wire fraud, money laundering, extortion, robbery, illegal gambling. This FBI will leave no room for any perpetrator of crime across this country. You hear a lot about our work of defending the homeland and crushing violent crime. Well, this work is also representative of a colossal portion of the FBI's mandate to keep America safe and to keep our entertainment industry fair and secure. The men and women that are standing up here today worked tireless hours, days, months, and years. And the fraud is mind-boggling. It's not hundreds of dollars. It's not thousands of dollars. It's not tens of thousands of dollars. It's not even millions of dollars. We're talking about tens of millions of dollars in fraud and theft and robbery across a multi-year investigation.
I will say I always felt weird about the NBA. Never trusted it. Never trusted it. Not a basketball fan here.
Yeah, very, very interesting. It's almost as if part of the shadow government is just people that own different corporations and they pull strings in different areas to make flow of cash. And it's as simple as that. I mean, maybe if you connect all the strings, it just boils down to the own, propensity of mankind to move towards our own goals and financial well-being, right?
Yep.
I mean, that's why we have to change our mindset as us plebeians down here trying to navigate the matrix. Is we have to realize that part of our strength is not only, pursuing the blessing, but internally, right, spiritually, if you kind of navigate in the proper direction, it helps you, not fall prey to the things that trickle down and affect all mankind, like corrupt NBA officials and their outlandish gambling habits. Yeah, we just came out of the 2000 Mules era, and breaking, FBI admits to Congress it embedded 275 plainclothes agents in the January 6th crowds over 4.5 years ago.
Yep.
So
about time
they claimed not, but we all knew they did because it was like standard protocol to, have people in the crowd during such a big momentous national event. But all right, guys. I know we've had a long episode, but I'm anticipating a lot of you tuning in because of the success of TruthorCon. And so I just want to say, by the way, hey, what's up? Welcome to Skiba News Nation. We're glad you've joined us. We cover a variety of topics. We want to become one of the largest truther channels out there, so we can put a spotlight on people with really amazing, fantastic, well-researched content. But, you know, you guys always need to do your homework and figure out what you value the most. But this next little post here, I think will tie nicely into what we've been covering so far.
Please, I could. What do you mean the Epstein files won't matter? They're drafting a bill quietly. It lowers age consent to 14. Redefines minors as an adult in special circumstances. Once that passes, the entire framework of sex crimes, prosecution collapses. So, everyone's name's in the file. Walks free. Not one sentence. Not one trial. History erased with a signature. Oh, now there'll be a revolt over this. People don't revolt anymore. And if they do, they will be labeled as Antifa, and ICE or the reserves will handle them. And martial law is nothing but a declaration made. Judges in Congress say they won't accept this. It's a system. It has to be. And you've seen how that ends. What about your good friend, Judge Woodson? She's already looking for a case. They're clearing the bench before the bill even hits the committee. Many times I can't listen. Listen, collapse, listen. Pull yourself together. Midterms mean nothing. The machinery is already moving. The election is not even scheduled. It's been absorbed. This can't be legal. Anything's illegal when it's bought, brokered, and signed in daylight. So, democracy was an experiment. What we have now is enforcement.
That guy's voice is perfectly suited for that segment.
Cinematic, for sure.
I mean, if you put together what he was breaking down and he's on to something, then, hey man, these midterm elections will be very interesting. And I think things are going to start heating up. We probably have, a couple, a week or two, because once we pass that longest government shutdown ever, the red light starts blinking, and people are going to start paying attention. And then as we get to these elections, it's always been the two-party system, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So if nobody votes Democrat anymore, the system breaks. It like fizzles out. And yep.
For sure.
Well, I just want to say for this final video that it is so well timed and beautiful that it's just like you're gonna appreciate the nuance of comedy and truther conspiracy. It's literally, it's the way that somebody can communicate these hard truths without actually putting their neck on the docket, because we are just doing this for entertainment purposes, right?
Very hard to be in the public eye and be honest unless you're the Joker card, baby. Come on. 52 cards, 52 days of the year, 52 weeks, not days of the year. 4 seasons. You got the spade, you got the agriculture, you got the club, the war, the heart. You got the treasury, and you got the narrative. Joker. No one wants to play any games with the Joker. Oh, get rid of the Joker so we can play our game. Ah, well, then why are the Jokers in every deck? Because we don't play the game. That's why you don't you always, oh, let's play blackjack. Oh, get rid of the Jokers. Whatever. Yeah, just take out the Jokers. What game has Jokers in? No game has Jokers in it. But yet we're in every deck.
That's all the news for this week, Jeremiah.
Thank you, Jake, for another great current news, as always. Don't go anywhere, guys. We still have a great Opus Corner and History's Mysteries, so don't you guys go anywhere. Now, a quick look at my new book, Charlie's Big Adventures Around the World or Not. He just tried to bite me when I said that. Something in the mail today. When I open it up, see what it is. Look at that. Charlie, look at this. Look. It's you. Charlie's Big Adventures Around the World. We're gonna flip through it. Look at all that. Look at that thing.
Here they are.
Two Danish boys. So now if you guys buy this in our Babylon Rising bookstore, you get a free signed copy for the same price. So I just wanted to throw that out there. If you guys want a special edition of the book, go there.
Check out our new and improved BabylonRisingBooks.com, where you can get Rob Skiba books, bundles, DVDs, DVD-ROMs, videos, and so much more. You can even get Sheila and Jeremiah's books, so check it out now.
Hey look, it's about that time for our new Opus Corner. Take it away, Oppa.
Mein Hut, der hat 3 Ecken. 3 Ecken hat mein Hut. Und hat nicht 3 Ecken, dann ist es nicht mein Hut.
The strange, the bizarre, the unexpected. These are the kinds of subjects a man named Robert L. Ripley challenged us to believe it or not.
Believe it or not, you.
Wally, believe it or not.
Believe it or not.
Believe it!
You're a loony.
In Japan, you can purchase cube-shaped watermelons. Believe it or not. Fashion brand Hermes sold fishing rods that cost $13,790.
Oh, no, thank you.
Believe it or not. Death Valley Nails has a nail polish that contains cattle bones. Believe it or not. Alfred Hitchcock was afraid of eggs. Believe it or not. A group of wildcats is called a destruction. And I guess a group of house cats is called a mass destruction. Believe it or not. A hamster's front teeth never stop growing. Believe it or not.
That's crazy.
Since 2007, the Ota Airport in Japan has had a giant fake sushi on the baggage carousel to showcase the area's rich seafood. Believe it or
It's
not.
a great marketing.
Salisbury Street's Oscar the Grouch was originally orange. Believe it or not.
They didn't want him to look like
Mark
a poo.
Twain was known for renting cats while he traveled because he missed his pets at home. Believe it or not.
I get it.
Nikola Tesla hated pearls and once sent his secretary home for the day after she wore pearl jewelry. Believe it or not. In 2013, Los Angeles became the first major city in the world to synchronize all of its traffic lights. Believe it or not. Between 1967 and 1975, the crews of 14 cargo ships trapped by the war in the Suez Canal formed an unofficial micronation, hosted their own Olympic Games, and even created their own stamps. Believe it or not.
Waterworld.
Writer Elizabeth J. Maggie Phillips created the Landlord's Game, the precursor to Monopoly, in 1904 to teach players about the dangers of wealth concentration. Believe it or not. While most entry doors in the world open inward, South Florida building codes require doors to swing outward for added protection against flying hurricane debris. Believe it or not. Kansas is so flat you can watch your dog run away for 2 weeks. Believe it or not.
That's crazy.
Well, the answer man says if the wheels start to spin, try rocking the car back and forth. Hot oil. Dang Italians, tricked us again. Wow, there goes Binky with the boss again. What a red-noser. See? No monsters under the bed. Now go to sleep. Oh, the Places You Doze by Dr. Muse. You'll crash on the couch. You'll nap on the stairs. You'll conk out on cabinets, carpets, and chairs. You'll snooze near your human, all over the place, and sometimes you'll sleep right on top of their face.
Yeah.
Our Pumpnip Latte gives you earthly catnip, warm fall spices, and the ability to tear the house apart. Give me a large. Vet's office. You're so scary. I can't even get near you. Ace Piano Movers. Wrong address. You want the place next door. I told you about the dinner party twice. For an emotional support dog, you really suck at listening. On my review, you wrote, "Try new things. Don't put yourself in a box." But sir, sometimes I really enjoy a figurative box, Clarence. Dogs Afraid of Cats support group. I have nightmares about fluffy tails and claws in my face. Me too. I'm gonna tell her it's my bed and she shouldn't be sleeping in it. You've been saying that for a month, Bruce. Well, old Bobby was beginning to feel his age, and I really didn't want to retire him just yet. God loses a contact lens. Well, shoot. It's gotta be around here somewhere.
The dome.
Uh-huh.
Carl Sagan as a kid. Just look at all those stars, Becky. There must be hundreds of them. Don't you worry, Miss Potato Head. We won't rest until we find your missing husband. And I want to thank you for these delicious French fries.
Oh, that's terrible.
That should do it. We'll see you in 6 months for your next cleaning.
True.
Today my human shook the bag of treats to get me to come out of hiding, and then didn't give me any treats.
Oh, that's Bubba.
What a monster.
I do that every day. Sorry.
Hold it right there, Doreen. Leave if you must, but the dog stays. I dare you to step on it.
It's like a spirit Halloween.
I know it's a little vague and ambiguous, but let's throw it in there just to see if everyone's paying attention. Repercussion.
I like that.
I'm looking forward to flying this airline because they boast about having more leg room than any other.
That would be horrifying.
Today, I'm going to nap on the bed, the recliner, the couch, the area rug, the coffee table, and the desk chair. That sounds exhausting. It's time we face reality, my friends. They're not exactly rocket scientists. Mom wants to know when she should start the potatoes.
It's a live dialogue, good.
Why do you do it, Biff? I mean, I always knew car chasing was in your blood, but the president's limo? His high school reunion is tomorrow. Great costume. Love how you included your kids. Where Bond got his famous phrase. The name's Hood. Robin Hood. Oh, that explains why my wife has been teaching him to stand. I'm with stupid. Notice, we are presently not open because we're closed. When I was a kid, there were no phones or tablets. We read cereal boxes at breakfast. Stop killing ducks to make duct tape. And that concludes another Opa's Corner.
Mein Hut, der hat 3 Ecken. 3
Opa's Corner is now available on my own YouTube channel. Like, share, and subscribe.
Thank you, Opa, for another great Opa's Corner. I learned something new every time. So what was on the back of the cereal boxes that you found so interesting? Missing children, or
Just about sending in money to get toys or
decoder rings,
rings or stuff
Man.
like that.
Those were the days. That'd be cool today.
Yeah,
Maybe
they
we should bring that back.
Yeah, they were pretty cool.
Well, thank you, Opa, for another great
There's an
Opa's
idea.
Corner. And now a quick word from our good friend Kristen. Are you a content creator, podcaster, or show host trying to do it all on your own? Booking guests, moderating chats, creating timestamps, and scheduling interviews? It's exhausting. That's where Kristen and Fellow Helper Agency comes in. Kristen is the ultimate behind-the-scenes pro. She makes sure your show runs smooth from start to finish. Whether it's securing an amazing guest, keeping your community engaged, or handling the scheduling chaos, you can count on her. Imagine focusing on creating great content while Kristen takes care of all the rest. Professional, reliable, and trusted. If you're serious about growing your show and building your audience, you need Kristen on your team. Visit fellowhelperagency.com today, because the right help changes everything. And it was so epic meeting Kristen and her great husband in person. And thank you for all that you do for this show. And it's time for an all-new History's Mysteries. So this week for History's Mysteries, we're going to be talking about how Chris Kyle, America's hero, started a beef with Jesse Ventura. Now, we all know Chris Kyle. He was the American Sniper, and Bradley Cooper played him in that movie. And of course, we know Jesse Ventura, the WWE Hall of Famer, conspiracy theorist, and governor of Minnesota, I believe. And so that's what we're going to be talking about today. So without further ado, let's play this first clip.
What happens when two Navy SEALs walk into a bar?
There's someone on the line saying that you were in a bar fight with Jesse Ventura. Is that true?
He said that he punched you in a bar.
Did you grab his ponytail? No. You slugged him? Good. Yeah.
He then said that I bowed up to fight him, and I said, "Why did you do this? You never punched me."
What does that feel like when someone just f***ing lies?
Horrible.
This is Jesse Ventura. For those who don't know, he's a member of the WWE Hall of Fame, was also the governor of Minnesota, and he was a Navy SEAL during the Vietnam War. He saw a lot over there, but the main thing he walked away with was a newly found distrust for his government.
Why is it that when you ask any question about 9/11, you're immediately attacked? How can they fall at the rate of gravity? John Kennedy was killed because he wouldn't go to war.
Now over here we got Chris Kyle.
He's got two first names.
Chris is a Navy SEAL sniper. In total, he's unalived 160 people, and that's just the confirmed number. When Chris eventually got discharged and sent home, he decided to write an autobiography and published it in 2012 with the title American Sniper. The book was an instant hit, and it turned Chris Kyle into a global celebrity.
It may be fun to walk into a bar now and go, SEAL Team 6, huh? I do that a lot, and no one believes it, but...
It even got adapted into an Oscar-winning movie starring Bradley Cooper. The movie was pretty faithful to the book, but it was clearly missing something. It left out a certain subchapter titled Punching Out Scruff Face. The events of this subchapter take place in 2006 on a summer night in Coronado, California, where both Chris and our friend Jesse happened to be at the same Navy SEAL bar.
What happened? You were in a bar and...
Oh, Jesus.
We had just come back from our 06 deployment when we lost our guys. We were having a wake for the guy who got the Medal of Honor, Mikey Monsoor, and he happened to be there. He was coming in for a graduating buds class that he was going to speak to, and he was upset with the war. He was making it known that he did not agree with it, and I approached him and said, hey, it was the SEAL bar there in town. I said, we're having the wake here, the family's here. I would appreciate it if you just kind of keep it down. He told us that we were innocent people over there, men, women, children, that we were murderers, and I said, you know what, we can all have our differences. Please just don't upset the family.
Yeah.
And then he said that, you know, we deserve to lose a few guys.
Holy Jesse said that?
Yes.
Oh. And what happened when he said that to you?
Did you grab his ponytail?
No.
You slugged him? Good.
I punched him.
That would have been in the movie.
Really?
I had to stop it.
They were going to have him punch you in the movie. Have
Well,
you
certainly
say
it's in the
something.
book.
Holy
and I had to stop it.
Jesse didn't agree at all with the way Chris interpreted that night. In fact, he claims Chris lied about him saying those things, which includes...
He said we deserved to lose some guys. And after you had just lost a buddy.
Right. And that no scruff faces were punched out, because no punches were thrown. Why would Chris Kyle, American sniper and war hero, lie about such a thing? Well, Jesse puts it plain and simple.
Because I had fame. I think he got jealous that night we were at the bar because everyone crowded around and wanted their picture with me. Do you know what Kyle's book sales was the day before he said what he said about me? 2,000. You know what it was a day later? 100,000.
So money corrupts, obviously, and you know, a lot of these stories that seem to come out after all this went down is not looking too good for Chris Kyle, and you know, his life ended tragically, which we'll be talking about here in a second. So let's discuss the lawsuit. And I mean, if I were Jesse Ventura and that happened to me, I would, heck yeah, I'd sue him. I mean, he's slandering me in front of other Navy SEALs, people that I don't know. Just check this out.
Jesse files a defamation lawsuit. When Chris eventually heard about the accusations, he said that he was genuinely caught by surprise and insisted that if everyone just put the lawyers away for a second, they could settle this man to man and avoid a huge expensive mess.
We agreed I would meet him in a room, the judge in the corner, and just he and I, like you and I are here. We sat down in the room and I looked him right in the face and I said, "Why did you do this? You never punched me." He looked me back and said, "Yes, I did." I turned to the judge, I said, "There's no need to go any farther."
What was the look in his face?
I believe, and I'm not a doctor, but I've done some studying, I think he was a sociopath.
That's right, guys. Chris Kyle, the American sniper, is actually an American liar.
A hero has to have honor, and a liar has no honor.
The trial was set to take place in August 2013. At least, that's how it was supposed to happen.
Chris Kyle, the deadliest sniper in history, and his friend Chad Littlefield were shot and killed by Eddie Ray
Now
Ralph,
this is all
a
sketchy,
retired
guys.
Marine. Kyle brought Ralph to the Rough Creek Lodge gun range near Glen Rose, Texas, in attempts to help Ralph with his post-traumatic stress disorder. Kyle and Littlefield's bodies were found a few hours later. Ralph.
Everyone involved in the case was at a loss for words. Except for Jesse.
He's taking this Marine to a gun range? Wouldn't common sense tell you not to put a weapon in the hands of someone suffering?
Ventura wants to go ahead with his defamation lawsuit, even though Kyle is not the target.
You might think this makes things easier for Jesse, but you see, now the lawsuit moves to Chris's estate. Or in other words, the newly widowed wife of an American hero whose funeral rivaled British royalty.
He's attacking who I consider the First Lady of American Warriors. I think it's unpatriotic and it's uncalled for.
Were you high when you sued Chris Kyle's widow?
Was I high? You know, that's a question and I expect it from someone from Fox.
So now, no matter where you stood on the matter, Jesse was back in his WWE days, pushing down poor old ladies. But the public ridicule didn't even leave a scratch on Jesse, because he had a Trump.
100%. And you know, for this, it's sad that he died, but if you look at it, Chris Kyle, when he died, kind of got the same kind of treatment that Charlie Kirk did. Now, I'm not comparing the two, and I'm not saying that, you know, Charlie Kirk was anywhere close to what Chris Kyle was. Chris Kyle was obviously not who he claimed to be in his book. It's a fictional telling, but he made it into a non-fiction story. So for our third and final clip, before I get y'all's thoughts, I just want you guys to see what came out after Chris Kyle's death and what concluded in the the false story. Almost gave it away there. And just check this out.
He would go on to showcase that Chris has a history of misremembering things. First, the number of stars he earned. When he left the Navy, he claimed he had earned 2 silver stars and 6 bronze stars. Then, when he wrote the book, he changed this to 2 silver stars and 5 bronze stars. But guess what? It turns out neither of those are true. His records show 1 silver star and 4 bronze stars. And if he were still with us, you're dang right he'd be chased out of a mall. Because that is stolen valor.
Right here, stolen valor!
Let's go. Stop it.
That it's fine.
So why are you wearing it? Because I wanted to. This is all I have clean right now.
When active military or veterans inflate the amount of awards they receive, it's called stolen valor, and it's looked down on in the military. A congressional act passed in 2013 made the practice a criminal offense when used to obtain money, property, or other tangible benefit.
But that's just petty crime. Here's a bigger one. He claims after Hurricane Katrina passed, him and a buddy went on top of the Superdome and started sniping American citizens.
The law enforcement in the area was completely overwhelmed.
30 of them. He says they were looters. Do you need to snipe them? Anyways, this was likely made up. There's no way to verify it, and there's no evidence it ever happened. But I did find this.
Tonight, an I-Team exclusive. Did the West Bank turn into the Wild West in the days following Hurricane Katrina?
Did you have any problems with looters?
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. But you did.
They're all dead.
What happened?
We shot them.
How many people you shot?
38.
38 people. What did you do with the bodies? You take them to?
Gave them to the Coast Guard.
With a cup of red wine in one hand and riding a tractor from Blaine Kern's Mardi Gras world.
This might be Chris Kyle. Alright, by now the jury was well aware that Kyle had a tendency to tell stories. But for the bar situation, here's where it all came crashing down. Just like his other tales, there were no witnesses to back up Chris's side of the story, except for one of his close friends. And for a jury, that doesn't look very good. There were pictures of Jesse, but he doesn't look very upset in any of them.
We have photographs that night, them posing for pictures with me. If I had said all this stuff, why would they have take pictures with me?
And pictures from the next day, and no other visible signs that he was in a fight.
Also, he was there to support SEALs that were graduating, so it just doesn't seem right that he'd be wishing all sorts of evil things upon them the night before. The jury had seen enough, and Jesse ended up winning the lawsuit.
Everyone see the smile?
He was awarded $1.8 million of the book's revenue. But while money is nice, it didn't repair the damage that was done.
2.5 years of lawyer fees that I have to pay to clear my name.
There are no real winners through this process because he did have to listen to these young SEALs say all of these terrible things about him.
How much did the backlash get to you?
A lot. I don't care to say I'm a SEAL anymore. I won't go to a reunion ever again. It's hurt a great deal because I used to always go to reunions. I used to contribute money. None of that'll all stop now because nobody from the community has come forward to support me.
He still fights for what he believes in. He still doesn't trust the government.
See, I think this attack could well be bigger than Kyle.
What do you mean?
If I'm involved in a court case like this, I can't run for office, can I?
As far as I know, Chris Kyle's wife and children walked away okay from all this. Now, back to what I was talking about before I got distracted. What happens when 2 Navy SEALs walk into a bar? Certainly nothing good.
Now that's just a story that people often forget, and I can't imagine what that's like to become a Navy SEAL and then to have a brother Navy SEAL just turn and make you a villain of his own story. Like, that is just so messed up. Just the whole thing is just irritating. And I would love to have Jesse Ventura on the show. I like some of his content. I think recently he's made some questionable comments about certain political figures, rooting for Kamala Harris. But that's just me. But what do you guys think about all this, Jake?
Wow, what a paradigm I have never thought about. I mean, I might have seen the story when it was coming out, like during Chris Kyle's life, and it's really interesting, the parallels with that particular American hero and his widow, and what's happening, in current politics. Whether conspiratorial or not, both stories I think could have ties to an interesting political movement around those events. And so I'm really interested to go back and look, because I think you really uncovered a very interesting canoodle.
Well, and then another thing was the way that Chris Kyle died is just so kind of questionable, and nobody ever talks about that anymore. But what are your thoughts, Opa?
Well, I really don't have much, because I really didn't follow that story too much back when it happened.
Who do you think was in the right?
I don't know. Jesse Ventura is pretty outspoken. Kyle seemed to be more layback, but I don't know. I think Ventura probably was more correct than Kyle.
Yeah, that's for sure. And shout out to a channel called Sir W at Sir W on YouTube. Go check out his content. He has not very many subscribers, so tell him that Skiba News Nation sent you. And yeah, I love his content. He has such a good sense of humor, and I'll be using more of his clips. I hope he doesn't mind. So now it's time to laugh with the please excuse my sense of humor. And if you laugh, tell me your favorite video in the comment section. And if you get offended, I'm sorry that you cannot take a joke. So let's roll it. My mom loved watching.
Bob, do you like
clips
this
of her.
little pair of these?
Pair of what?
These. I keep them in a basket on the piano.
They just look like plain old nuts to me.
These
What are they?
nuts on your forehead.
Oh, Fred!
Oh, I want to see them perform live.
By any chance is the name of that group called Peck? You know, a little kiss. I'm going to hell.
Hey, Frank, have you ever seen a pair of these?
A pair of these?
A pair of these nuts on your forehead.
Ah, you got me, Mr. President. Couldn't resist. I'm never going to live that down.
Jake, do not laugh, Jake. Do not laugh. Opa, do not laugh.
In the case of 12 baby kittens, you are not the father!
He has a little heart.
All these people. They're here for you. Give them a wave at least.
1 second, Jackie.
Oh,
I'm
no.
pinned behind this crate. Reload. Okay, flank to the left. Jack. Almost got him. Line it up. Steady. Boom! Headshot.
Jake, don't laugh. Don't you dare laugh.
And a lot of people think that a blind person can't play football.
Oh, poor. Hey, he's got spirit, bro. I want to talk to that kid.
Seat, grabbing golden sunshine, that's good to eat. Bananas in the basket, peanut butter stacked high, sweet and smooth together, you know the reason why. Rolling through the checkout, feeling.
We gonna miss you, EBT.
Speaking
had
of
a long
EBT.
run, my boy.
Gone but never forgotten, EBT.
Rest easy, bro.
We gonna miss you, EBT.
I didn't do that for months. I didn't drop a bomb on Paris. I asked for surrender 5 times before we attacked Warsaw. Everything was refused.
All right, Helen, it's your turn. We'd like a vowel, please. Okay, was that an
She's
A?
got the
JFK, Abraham Lincoln, and myself walk into a bar. We get a few shots.
Don't forget to hold quick conversations with our younger guests, too. Children often play a big part in deciding which restaurant their parents visit.
I was just telling the guy before you that the Jews control the weather.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Oh la la. Oh, king in the castle, king in the castle.
I'm clapping.
This is fun.
I'm praising. I feel like I just snorted cocaine or something. I'm so excited. And I never did that before. For the record. For the record. For the record. For the record. But I'm clapping my hands.
For the record, Jake. For the record. So what was your favorite, Jake?
Oh man, I thought the choir boy was you got me. I tried. I was like, I'm not gonna do it. But then the picture that emerged from him, that was like, peace. This is his moment. Like, that was probably the happiest day of his life, man. That was.
Oh yeah,
that was
every
awesome.
day is the happiest day of their lives, and that's why I like showing it. I mean, it's just they're awesome people. You know, what was your favorite, Opa?
I liked Elvis and the peanut butter and jelly.
Peanut butter and banana sandwiches. Yeah, that AI is getting scary. The Mr. Rogers one. Oh my gosh. They're getting so good to where you can't even tell what's real and what's fake. But that's the topic for a different day. Hope you got some memes for me, Jake.
Yeah, I got 2 funny memes and a video from our friend Zach Lewis. He keeps getting, and I want to show a really interesting apocryphal deep dive he did. His little clip about the Garden of Eden, the Staff of Power, or no, the Staff of the. All right, you'll see. Let's get into it.
All right, me up. Me up.
All right, we'll kick it off first with this Zach Lewis video, and then we'll end it off with a little bit of a laugh here. Check this out.
Moses' rod goes all the way back to the garden, and which was revealed to me by Zen Garcia in his book, The Rod of Wonder and the Garments of Power. And in this picture here, you can see Adam and Eve taking the fruit of the tree of knowledge of good and evil, and you could see the serpent, which is a feathered serpent wrapped around the tree. So the story goes, when Adam and Eve sinned in the garden and the serpent was cursed, and when they got kicked out of the garden, God made them coats of skin, and this skin of coats was the original skin of the serpent, the feathered serpent. And the serpent probably looked like this. This is a picture of Quetzalcoatl. Before God kicked Adam and Eve out of the garden, he broke a branch off of the tree of life and gave it to Adam, which would eventually become the Rod of Wonder, the sapphire stick. These relics would be passed down through Adam's line, eventually leading to Seth, and then to Enoch, and then to Noah, and taken onto the ark. And then after they got off of the ark, Ham stole the garments of power, and eventually giving them to his son Cush, and then Cush giving them to Nimrod, in which Nimrod put those garments of power on, and it was eventually able to rule the whole world. The rod would stay in the line of Adam, eventually going to Shem, who also was Melchizedek, and eventually giving it to Abraham, also passing the priesthood down with him. In the book of Jasher, we're told that Esau eventually kills Nimrod in the forest while hunting, taking the garments of power, and which Esau would eventually sell to his brother with his birthright. So once Jacob got these back, he had both the Rod of Wonder and the garments of power, and eventually giving them to his son, Joseph. Jacob gave the Rod of Wonder and the garments of power to Joseph, which were the multicolored garments. Which is interesting because we know that the garments of power were the original skins of the feathery serpent. And over here we have a picture of Quetzalcoatl, which is a multicolored being.
I will say, Zach always has a special place in Skiba News Nation in my heart because he created the first TikTok. So big shout out to him. I'll always promote his stuff. So
For sure. I got to meet him at a conference recently, and he was super cool. And he didn't get to make it out to TruthorCon, but maybe next year, Zach, you can make it down there. And, you know, guys, go look up Zach's latest channel. He has such a funny censorship story because he just keeps adding 7 to the end of his name. So it's like Zach Lewis 7, Zach Lewis 77. And then, like he keeps having to go through all these channels because TikTok and everybody, you know, just bans his stuff constantly. So, you know, love to support him. And here's another funny little meme that you guys will enjoy. Someone asked if I was ready for the fall, and it took me a second to realize they meant autumn and not the total collapse of society. Man. Oh, man. Sometimes it feels like that. And here's one more for you guys today. I heard the government is putting chips inside of people. I hope I get Doritos. I hope I get Doritos. The non-GMO version, right? Oh man.
Right on.
Yeah, man. Right on. Well, hey man, before we end off, I wanted to ask you, what was your favorite memory of TruthorCon 2025?
Watching my wife and watching Opa and watching you guys just fulfill your roles and Lindsay's parents, just being there for the love of truth and doing, I mean, seriously, that this conference wouldn't be possible without Lindsay. I mean, she's like my better half, so she was like, she's perfect at everything. That's how I see her. And then I'm kind of like okay, everybody go ask Lindsay, you know. And then Opa's sitting there filming, and you know, he's great at that, and you're walking around and mingling and doing all that. So I find the best people to put around me to make everything successful, which is awesome. So we all get to celebrate together, and just meeting all the amazing subscribers and people, it just means so much to me, and I can't wait to do it again next year. What about you?
Same here, bro. I think getting to hang out and make some of those connections and remember connections that have been lost, you know, it's all super beautiful, and we've been building up to it for a while, and it was amazing seeing the team come together. So can't wait till next year, bro.
Yep, it's gonna be fun. All right, Opa, what was your favorite? Let me ask you.
Well, I just think it's great that all these people came together at TruthorCon and shared a common bond. And I just thought it was wonderful to see all those people, some of them that we talked to over Discord or talked to, you know, in comments and stuff like that in the chats, and now you get to see them, and it was crazy.
Opa got to meet some of his biggest fans, which was kind of cool to watch, like, from the back, you know, like, it was just cool. Next time I'll bring Charlie, and I no guarantees. He might bite, he might scratch, but he loves you. So with that being said, Jake, thank you for another great current news and memes as always. Opa, thank you for another great Opa's Corner, and we hope you enjoyed today's episode as a whole. Stay awake, not woke, subscribe, and stay tuned.
JT, I know you want to shout out the Truth Expo. TruthorCon if you want to. Okay. You don't necessarily have to show pictures, Mark. It was fantastic. It was this last Saturday, the 25th and 26th. Jeremiah Skiba worked with Jake and I'm sure some others to get this thing going. And it went so smooth. Like for a first time event, because I've been to 2 or 3 Flattoberfests, it just operated great. Jeremiah opened up day 1. Whitsitt went second. Gary Wayne, he's the author of the Genesis 6 Conspiracy went. And Dave Weiss had an awesome Power Pack presentation, just full color. I think I sent you, Mark, a little clip of him.
You did. Thank you for that. That was good. That was good stuff.
One of your little videos. And then it was really cool at the end. They had a special guest panel where everybody got up on stage and they had like rapid fire questions. And then they had to like topics where they could only give 2 words, which was hilarious. We came back for day 2. Lucas Cameron from 7 Trumpets Prepper talked, and that was fantastic. Mike Jenny runs The Candid Truth. Josh Keefe, I've never met him before. I was so glad to meet him. He runs Founded Earth Brothers and Creation Standard. So he's like, I think he was an 8th grade science teacher, went away from mainstream teaching to do his own Creation Standard course, which I've looked into, you know, for my own kids to learn from, and it's fantastic. Brother Theo went, and then Bryson Gray was brought in for music, and then they had a VIP dinner.
If you like what we do here on Skiba News Nation, please like and subscribe. and also share with others so we can grow the biggest truth-seeking community on the internet. Huge shout out to all of our Patreons out there. If you like bonus content, you want some extra Skiba News Nation stuff, please go to patreon.com/Skiba News Nation.
Son of the legendary Ross Jeremiah Skiba.
It's like they don't even want to wake up.
He's on a quest for truth.